Hi there. Well, it's a pretty ghastly day today, but I just had to get out no matter what. And as soon as I went out, it really started pouring down. Now it's stopped, thank God. I was meant to go out yesterday, but I thought another day in the house, I'm beginning to feel, all cooped up. So I thought today I'd tell you about just this is kind of my midwinter bike build. This is my giant Tough Road. We call it the bleak midwinter. That's pretty much what it's like today. Just to show you quickly, mud guards, it's a cheap bike, you don't need to worry about it getting wet. Mud guard at the front, quite resistant. Also my kit, I'm wearing a totally waterproof jacket, totally waterproof trousers, overshoes, I'm using these gloves, Ekoi gloves, with you can warm them, just so you can really get out, if you're not the sort of person that likes being home on the turbo trainer. The other thing I wanted to mention is, this is not so much just a winter thing, it's like if you're going out and doing a really epic route. Here I've got two GPS units. I've got the Garmin 850 and the TuNav Rock. So this is more like you're thinking about going out all day, or even to that kind of epic route where you're not sure if you're going to have enough water, or you're taking all sorts of supplies, a bag with lots of food, you name it, and you really don't want to mess up with the route at any point. So you can have a Garmin, both have routes loaded in both units. But what I really like about the TuNav is this is on the TomTom routing map, okay? But imagine you stop and you're a bit confused, you've built up a bit of mental fatigue over the day, and you think, I'm not actually sure where I am. Okay, well, change to, there's this really good map, right? I'm going to take away the TomTom and switch to something called Spain Ortho, right? And imagine you're at some end of a trail and you see this overpass or some kind of strange infrastructure, and that's a satellite image of, you can zoom it in, and it gives you a really good idea of where you actually are. Sometimes shows you something you don't pick up on a more classical GPS, and that's very useful. The only thing with TuNav is the connectivity is not so great, and notifications are not so great either. It's almost a bit like a kind of old generation Garmin. I think maybe because of their latest firmware update, the routes they're not coming in from the cloud, so I'm just going back to sticking it, the cable into the computer and putting the route on the GPS that way. Okay, so that's all for today. I'm going to be on my merry little way. I'll talk to you later. Bye.